Welcome my friends to tonight's presentation of BOYD Poetry Corner. Tonight, we will be featuring a selection by Edgar Allan Poe, entitled, The Raider. Once upon a raid night dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over the world of logs report from the night before, while I nodded, nearly sleeping, suddenly there came a weeping, as of someone gently creeping, like the hobos at Prim's door. Some noob is here, I muttered, wanting to raid just like before. Maybe farm night, nothing more. Distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, when Ice Crown opened wide its frosty doors. Inside was the trash to greet us. We charged in for it to meet us. Not long did it take to beat us. Our corpses scattered on the floor. The trash must have had a high gear score, so we wiped, and wiped some more. As our leader grew more pissed, we made sure not a trap to miss as we ventured out across the icy floor. Then we saw we were not far from the boss Lord Marrogar. We began with full health bars, but then spikes came from the floor. Down the spikes. I urged, these spikes that rise out from the floor, said our DPS, nevermore. Then on vent was heard a whimper, as we moved on to Death Whisper, fearing ads would soon emerge from all the surrounding doors, but she proved to be no trouble, as our paladin bravely bubbled, and we downed her on a double, her loot spilling out across the floor. Loudly then the hunters shouted, did that bow drop? Did we score? Laughed the GM, nevermore. Finally then there came a fight, where even noobs could get it right. The 25 of us took flight aboard the gunship of the Horde. We all put on a new jetpack and started the bad guys to attack. But suddenly our tank went splat, as his jetpack he ignored. Maybe you should equip your jetpack, Bull Tanks implored, added Gil, Senior. Then we stood before Deathbringer, and on his rise were forced to linger, our ears assaulted by the longest speech in Warcraft lore. Our skills were put unto the test, but we put Sour Fang to rest, throwing open his loot chest, hoping to see what we looked for, mages, rogues, death knights and druids. Only tokens for those four. Thus would it be forevermore. As our repair bills we were hating, Festigut for us was waiting. Deep inside the new wing we dared to explore. We began to think we're screwed, as his gas upon us spewed. But finally we made it through, grabbed loot and made for the door. That boss was easy. I wonder if we'd wipe on Rotface more. Yes, we would, forevermore. Then Rotface stood before us daunting, his fat ass jiggling as if taunting us to come inside and face his poo exploding on the floor. We ran inside to start the fighting. The ooze's our off-tank was kiting, expertly avoiding wiping. As the ooze began to grow some more, this giant poo, it is exploding. Everyone head toward the door. Rotface lived, nevermore. We then encountered Putricide, and instantly we all had died. But then backing we bravely ran and buffed some more. The professor spawned his oozes, and greatly did the fight confuse us, as they endlessly pursued us, all across the boss room's floor. Phase 3, move him bull, but do not taunt till it's called for. Priest token drops, nevermore. The 3 blood princes waited yonder, and then did I begin to ponder how best to kill that which we had never killed before, with hunters standing at the walls, and Mater handling his balls, making sure they didn't fall. Surely the princes were done for. The hunters pouted as we looted, for there were no balls anymore. Then Mater wept, forevermore. Up the ramp we then discovered that above us Blood Queen hovered. Quickly we learned that our throat is what she would go for. She selected Roche for munching, then his keyboard he was crunching, but in the end his throat was punching, as he failed to bite once more. After her death the entire room filled up with loot galore, but Roche was lost, forevermore. After the Blood Queen had been bested, we came to Dreamwalker who rested in the last wing. She laid there, half dead upon the floor. The tank spot video was revealing. All she needed was some healing, and after that we would be stealing from her treasure stores. It was then clear that Holy Plate would not drop for us anymore. And Fallen cried, then cried some more. Syndragosa then was waiting, a fight we would soon grow to hating, a debuff which cripples the casters. This fight mechanic I abhor. 5 of us would then be chosen, and we would all then be frozen, including Jizzy, who was dozing. At last she died upon the floor. "Hey there, Jizzy," we all wondered. "Can you stay awake some more?" Mumbled Jizzy, "Never, bro." Finally we reached the Lich King, on his frozen throne still sitting. Slowly doubt began to creep in as we thought, are we this hardcore? But at last our tanks grew stronger, getting one shot then no longer. At last we had the Lich King conquered, his body broken on the floor. Somehow we managed, being greater than we ever were before, and shall it be forevermore. Thank you for listening to this really crappy poem. Join us next time for my BOYD rendition of Baby Got Back.